there's something that I always think about. Like, wealthy people are wealthy because they own stuff of value, right? And poor people are poor because the stuff they own
That's right.
doesn't have any value. So, I think that there need to be schools that actually break down like value of the assets and what goes up in value versus just they advertise and they market, I don't want to say junk, but stuff that is definitely not going to give you the type of value that you really need.
Correct.
So it's really, really like an interesting conversation.
And as you're saying that, it reminds me of, I'm paraphrasing it. Solomon said in the book of Proverbs that a wise man's house is filled with treasures and with oils and all kind of choice food. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff, That's what a wise man's house is filled. So it says that in order to be wealthy, you have to be walking in some measure of wisdom. You have to. And wisdom coming from where? The Lord. So, and in addition to that now, or the flip side of that now, rather, is that the poor will be hated even by his neighbors.
Yeah.
Your own friends, your own family, they'll get fed up with you. Oh God, you again, you always want something. And that's just what it is, You know? So as far as I see it, God said so, it has to happen now,
Yeah.
So that's my view on it. So in order to attain wealth, you have to attain some level of wisdom. And I know I think in our last conversation, you briefly mentioned about wisdom and knowledge and understanding.
Yeah.
So that is also a part of the formula as well. Because if you don't know how you can apply.
Correct.
You understand?
Definitely.
So you have to get the information or the knowledge first. And I think scripturally, when it refers to knowledge, it speaks about knowledge attained through like education or through life experiences.
Yeah.
And then wisdom, as you mentioned, is knowing when to apply that information, when to apply that lesson that you learn in the situation that you're currently in, and so on. So, so I just kind of wanted to add to that because I don't want to be the poor that we'll always have, but
likewise here.
Been there, done that. It's not cool.
And even all right, growing up like with Christian beliefs, right? A lot of Christians focus on, yes, there are a lot of warnings about wealth, right? But there's some warnings about poverty too,
boy.
Right? So, and that scripture that you talk about, in the house of the wise, there's treasure and oil and so on. It continues, but the foolish man spendeth all he has, all that he has. So, I mean, the first sign for me is if it is that you are spending all you have, then you're not in a very good place.
Correct.
So it really has some stuff that we need to dig down into, because the Bible also says in all labor that there's profit, right?
In all labor.
So there's a mindset now, well, them ain't paying me enough, so I'm not gonna work, or this not paying, so I'm not gonna do it. When the Bible says all labor that there's profit, that means it may be tangible or it may not be tangible, but there's benefit to it. So sometimes, and I always say this, let your season of learning be greater than your season of earning.
True.
Because you are able to earn based on what you have learned. So what you need to establish more is the skills and the values and the mindset that would attract the type of income, not just go after, I want to make X, Y, Z, but let me learn the type of skills that would position me to earn that and beyond.
Yeah. I mean, as you were speaking there's a lot of thoughts that come to mind. And going back to growing up in Christian values, one of the struggles that I had, and I know for a fact, a lot of Christian people struggle with accepting wealth. I remember when I first got into a position where I could earn an unlimited amount of income, I really struggled with that. I almost felt like guilty. How could I focus on money? You got to focus on the things of God, and seek ye first the kingdom. And they hear that all the time, eh?
Yeah.
Seek ye first the kingdom, and the love of money is the root of all evil. And they even quote that one incorrectly. Oh, money is the root of all evil. But it's the love of money.
Yeah.
I understand deeply that money has no intrinsic value. I do not care about the money itself. I care about what it can do for me or bring for me. And I love what Solomon said this as well, that again, I'm paraphrasing about, you eat to be glad and you drink to be merry, but money answer it.
All things.
All things. So all things, not some things, but all things.
Yeah.
So oftentimes, if you have a problem, money might be the solution, and so so struggling with that, right, and with wealth and so on, it shows to me, at least from my experience, it was a lack of understanding of the scriptures.
Yeah.
And when you start to go through scripture, you realize, wait, but these guys was wealthy. Abraham was a wealthy man. His sons, Isaac was wealthy, but Jacob was rich.
Yeah.
These guys was rich. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
These guys were so rich that God had to bring the worst famine on the planet to bring them into Egypt, so all the money could run out. They were so rich. You know what I'm saying? He had to make sure that money ran out because he needed to place them in Egypt for his purpose. For later on, to reveal his mighty hands and things like that. But that's what he had to run them for his money.
Just
plenty money for that.
Just I'm joking with a friend of mine sometime like last year, and I was like, bro, Solomon was able to build a whole temple, and he was telling people, don't bring any more stuff.
Too much.
But you try to get something done now. Like 100 people had to put up $50 to get an AC unit installed in the church now. So
not only that, is when is Queen
Queen of Sheba.
Queen, yes, Sheba, right?
Yeah, Queen of Sheba in the Bible.
Yes, and when she came to him, is how they describe how she was out of breath.
Yeah,
I think they said his spirit left her. So she couldn't believe when she looked at his servants and how they were dressed, and the palace and these places and where they live and what they eat. She had no more spirit in her.
Yeah,
she was aghast. She couldn't believe it. She's like, show me no more. I can't take it. Like, I can't take it, Solomon. I seen enough.
Yeah.
I seen enough. No one know that what I heard about you is not only true, but it's actually much more greater.
Yeah.
I would have heard, and I think how was it described that? Like how when you say your reputation precedes you?
Yeah.
Right. His was actually exceeds him,
Exceeds him.
After you met him, he was like, whoa, even you realize
way better than
they would have heard before. So, that is something that that I struggled for a long time, feeling okay accepting that. But when I dig deeper, I get to understand God requires a diligent person, right? Requires that.
Yeah.
And you can, and the hand of the diligent make it rich. So a diligent person will be a successful person.
Yeah.
So whatever God has in store for you, He's not going to use you if you're a slacker, you struggling, and not because of your circumstances, but you're struggling with whatever, with discipline, with commitment, with dedication, with finances because of poor choices.
Yeah.
There's visions out there. And that's what happened to me. I was struggling for years because why? I wasn't looking for the way out. I figured you're going through life as if everything's supposed to come to you. But it was right there all the time. The evangelism was there all the time.
Yeah.
I just wasn't listening.
Yeah.
But when I began to listen, I realized, I'm like, wow.
So you mentioned something there, and it stirred up this thought because this is always something that I'm passionate about, right? Very, very passionate about. There's some young people out there who they believe that they don't want to do it unless it's something that they love and they're passionate about. And it like totally freaks me out, right? Because you would see somebody who is at home for like 5 years or 10 years saying, well, that is not my passion. I want to do X, Y, Z. And because X, Y, Z is not here, I'm waiting until XYZ comes, right?
Right.
And it just shows a void of wisdom,
Right.
because time is like a limited window,
Right.
a time frame. And how do you not know that there's other skills that you need to be able to stack onto whatever that you love or whatever that you're passionate about? So there's a saying that you do what you have to do so that you could do what it is that you want to do.
Correct.
And I think that there's a lot, just because of all this social media and things, and people are able to achieve things in a faster way, then everybody believes, all right, that person became a singer, or that person became a star, or that person became a sports person, then that's what I want to do.
Right.
And they almost feel like I need to get that level of success and not any less. Like I need to get it with that same ability and space.
That situation that you presented there is just simply a lack of knowledge or ignorance. That's all it is. I mean, you take time, you read the story of any successful person, you realize that's not how it is. I remember, for example, Jeff Bezos was very successful at what he was doing.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, his then boss, I mean, just even say that now sounds ridiculous. Eh?
Yeah.
That Jeff Bezos as a boss, told him, here's now, what you're doing or what you're about to do is a good idea, but for somebody who making less money. You're making too much good money to throw that away and Amazon. What is that? You want to sell books? Now selling books, Andrew. And look what Amazon has turned into now. And what that also shows is that where you start is not always where you finish.
Yeah.
So you might be passionate about something now, but who said that's where you will finish? What the end product might look so completely different from where it started. So to wait on, well, I only do what I'm passionate about. That is foolishness, in my opinion.
It's not the only passion that I know about is passion fruit.
So not everybody is for. Some people do have the opportunity to dive right into something passionate about and they just excel at that, and that's fine. But that's not everybody's story. Not everybody has an opportunity off the bat. And sometimes, boy, it's not about necessarily doing something you dislike or you hate, but it's doing something needed, doing something to get the experience, doing something to understand how systems work.
Yeah.
So then when you ready, so it's like you're in training. That's what it is. So when that opportunity comes, and as I said, opportunity, another scripture comes to mind, where in the book of Ecclesiastes, where the race is not for the swift, not the battle to the strong, or this to the rich, and it signifies that time and chance happens to all man. So in other words, everybody have an opportunity.
Yeah.
Every single body. So when your opportunities come, because you are making the most of your time, you're going to be able to strike it at the right time, and you will take off from there. So don't wait until all the stars line up, all your ducks line up in a row. Don't wait until everything is perfect. I mean, when you get a phone, or even you and I, we used to play a little PlayStation and thing. I mean, I still play a little game every now and then. When they bring out these devices, there's also an upgrade because it's not perfect. But you can't wait. You make it functional good enough. But the first generation of it is never the best. The later ones are always smaller, faster, more space,
more storage,
more processing speed. So it's more storage. So it always gets better over time. And that's exactly how it is for everybody.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, just keep on doing it. You will get better. The more you do, that's the best way to get better at something. Just do it more.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the better you get something. So wait until, that's nonsense.
There's a saying that I've heard, right? You'll be the same person that you are 10 years from now, but for the books that you read and the people that you meet, right? And some people, they act like what I learned in school, that's it.
Yeah.
And they basically take a snapshot of their life. So it's like you interacting with a 40-year-old who would have locked off learning at 20.
Oh yeah.
Because this is what I know, this is what I've learned, this is how I operate, this is how I function. What do you think about that?
And that partly is what the formal education system does. It treats school as if this is where you learn, but in reality, life is it's school.
Yeah.
You learn every single day. So when I left secondary school, I thought that was it, you know? I thought that was it. So when I went into tertiary education, I thought, well, I mean, I could do new stuff, not the same things I did before. Man, when they come and hit me with that math something again, I was like, I just did this. I have to do more maths.
Yeah.
So I remember, struggling in quantitative methods and calculus and all the other stuff I did. Who's the boy again, right?
Nightmare.
No,
John Martin.
That's a big mistake.
Wherever that he is, he'll know that we're his past students.
That's the best, yes. But my point is, like, I remember feeling that when you're done with school, you're done with learning.
Yeah.
I remember even just randomly picking up to go and learn French because I felt like my brain was rotten. Like so much years since I finished university, and I never learned anything new. Now you're operating off of that same information that is outdated. And the moment you leave school, that information is outdated.
Yeah.
I can't apply. I never got a job based on my degree. Not even once. And I don't know if I would apply for anything.
I have it on ice right now.
We don't want that. Everything I've done did not even require that.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that's not for everyone.
If you want to be a doctor, please go and get qualified.
Please. Just randomly administering medication to people. You gotta get a qualification. But my point is that the school system is structured in a way where it teaches these children that school is for learning.
Yeah.
And that's not true. So a lot of them, when they finish, they figure, well, it's time to make money now. You now begin to learn. You know something to learn because where you learn, you ain't really learn the real thing yet.
Yeah.
They didn't teach about business, they didn't teach about money, about how to create
about life,
how to grow it, how to invest it, about life, So I mean, that is where so a lot of young people when they finish school, the harsh reality of life now hit them in the face. Bam! And they're depressed and they're frustrated and all kind of things like that. But because nobody was teaching them the real things.
They're now in first year of life.
Yeah, I tell my children, they're 5 and 6, and I tell them, there's not plenty of things in life to cry for, But this is not one of them. Don't cry for the stack. This is not one of them. This is not one of the things. When you go there, you will see. And I say it jokingly, but what I'm really trying to in the back of their minds is to really let them know life is not fair.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear, I'm really at a point in life where I don't want to hear nothing about that's unfair and this and that. That's just how life is, bro.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm better than that person. You know what? Keep grinding. Keep pushing. Keep growing. Keep learning. Keep becoming more. And you will nothing will be able to stop you. Nothing will deny you, that opportunity for success and so on.
Right.
Yeah, you just have to keep it that way. And this, I'm talking to myself too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, every day I'm looking forward to learning new things. I'm always watching a podcast. I'm always reading a book. I'm always looking at the highlights, summaries of books and so on and stuff like that because whatever that I might be passionate about, I would definitely want to go in a little bit deeper, find out a little bit more, especially when it comes to finances and money and so on and stuff like that. Even in Trinidad and Tobago specifically, the conversations that we have are sometimes so left. So some random person might come and they'll be like, hey, ting, Forex, wherever, you can invest XYZ. And when you have the conversation with them, they're not even generating enough money to have surplus to actually invest. Yeah. And I would ask them, like, do you know about the local stock market? They don't, but they know about Forex. They know about like the foreign stocks, but do you know about the local bond market? Do you know about what it is that we have on offer? Do you know about the financial and mutual funds that we have here locally and what they yield. And it's a nice conversation to have because for everybody who they pick up one idea or like theory and they run with that particular one, they need to be able to understand that when you have debate or you have these conversations, it actually exposes you to more knowledge, not to prove that your way is right and mine is wrong.
Absolutely.
But it now says,
absolutely,
all right, there's potentially 15 places that I could invest money in, right, versus one.
Correct.
And let me get all the pros and cons and put them all up side by side and see what's perfect for my personality.
Right.
And it really brings things into perspective.
Absolutely. And that really reminds me of the work that I do. So I never want to make everybody feel as if, the one size fits all. Insurance is the solution for everybody. That can't be it. And Myron said this so nicely. He said, if you are a hammer, then every problem looks like a nail. So you want to use the same tools to solve every problem, but there are always different ways to solve it. And my job is to find out which way is the best for you. But what you speak about goes to show the level of financial illiteracy that we as a nation have. Because as you rightfully say, people won't even know about the local stock market, but they will get swindled, boy, with things like, I was in last one about get Excel. I was very, very saddened for the people that lost their hard-earned money, but so disappointed at the same time for those who just bought into this get rich quick scheme. It does not exist.
It does not exist.
It does not exist, people. Look at me. It does not exist. It's facts. Read a book, man. Like, listen to somebody's story who a billionaire, a multi-millionaire, somebody you look up to. Listen to their story. It does not exist. It doesn't. This get rich quick thing, boy, ain't, because you know what? You do not get money without adding value. So when someone approached me with that, I don't know, someone approached me with that, I asked them, who's being serviced? I asked them, who's being serviced? I said, where is the value in this service and who's receiving it? They can answer the question, all I have to do is this and that and that. I'm like, no, bro, I good. And then a client of mine, or a few clients actually, had reached out to me, stay away, but I said, stay away from that. I mean, not said, right? And I didn't know nothing about it really. I just asked myself, where is the value? Where's the value? You do not get money without providing value. So understand that every time you're getting into something, who is being serviced? And what is the value of that service that is being offered? So the lower the value, the lower the reward, but the higher the value, the higher the reward. So financial literacy, I think, is a big thing, and that is a very important part of the work that I do. I take time to always lay down the foundational values of what it is to be financially literate, so you can understand how money works, why is it important, and how to not only safeguard it but to grow it. So check out the Kangalee investments.
That's some really good stuff. And all right, there's some people who would hold on to money, so they want to save money in a way that is almost detrimental to themselves, right? So you would have somebody, they have a savings, let's just say that they have $10,000 savings. Right? They make $4,000 a month. But there's a $1,500 course that would allow them to increase from 4,000 to potentially 8,000. But because they want to hold on to their savings, they don't want to spend any money.
I mean, again, money has no intrinsic value. If you have your money in places where it does not grow, then it is losing. All right, trying to go on average, I think from inception, we have an average inflation of 7%. Right? What does that mean? It means the value of your dollar is decreasing by 7% every single year. So you have your money under your mattress in the bank that gain nothing, no kind of interest, and some savings account that really not getting any kind of interest. You're losing money, That's what it is. Not to mention whatever fees and things you're charging every month and so on. You are losing money and you're losing it rapidly. There was a, I don't know call names, but there was a multi-billion-dollar organization that I was once a part of, and I remember they had a meeting discussing that, guys, we have so much cash that is a problem. We need to spend this, or not spend, but invest this money into something.
Yeah.
We need to buy something with it. Because having money like that is not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. If they think it's not good, why you think it's good for you?
Yeah.
You understand? So it doesn't matter how much or how little you have, get into the habit of investing. Saving money is only for a particular purpose. You want to save to buy a car, a down payment at least for a car, whatever the case may be. You want to save for a vacation, you want to save for your birthday, you want to save for an emergency fund, which is important.
Yeah.
But after you achieve those goals, what are you saving for? Invest the money, start to invest it. You know? So that is just some of the concepts that I think people need to be more introduced to and become more comfortable with it, man. Holding the money. That ain't doing you no good, you know?
Yeah.
That money worth less next year and far less 10 years from now. What are it?
Well, crazy thing, you know that we have the culture here where they'll spend 700 for a fet, 1,000 for a fet, 2,000 for sneakers. But when it comes to getting books for school or getting self-development books, right? I think that a lot of the writers here actually have a really hard time actually selling books because we don't have the type of population who seek self-development that much. And I think that is one of the places where the most amount should be put in and invested. So the best place that you could actually invest money is in yourself and self-development.
Yeah.
Because you become like the asset that drives revenue, that drives investments, that drives your school of thought with money. So I really think that persons need to almost budget self-development. What skills do I need? What should I stack on top of this? And if it's not a skill, well, maybe something that needs to be outsourced to somebody else.
I had a manager that said once, and again, a lot of things really stick with me and or stuck with me. And this is one of them. He said that if you're not willing to invest in yourself, how would you expect somebody else to invest in you? That was it. If you are not willing to invest in yourself, how would you expect someone else to invest in you? I don't know if Trinidad and Tobago is a society where people don't care about self-investment, but I believe that what might be the problem is that people are unaware of how important it might be.
Yeah.
You know, so if more light is shed upon that, then maybe you might see a change in the culture of the people where they spend a lot of time and effort into investing in themselves. You have to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
You know, that is crucial. So, Andrew, I know we spent a lot of time talking about so much different things, and I know the thoughts might be a little
all over the place.
Yeah, all over the place and so on. But I trust that, you know, somewhere in between that, some nuggets of information was shared that really would help someone. You know, even if I myself could go back and listen to it and say, you know what, let me take my own advice. Let me take Andrew's advice. That's actually something that I've been speaking about for the longest while. Let me actually go and do it. Because like I said, you know, I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm not the finished product. You know, there's a lot more that I'd like to achieve. And I understand the importance of singular focus. It was one thing I would like to leave people with. Get a singular focus. You know, identify, spend some time, you know, identifying what it is you want for yourself. You know, don't ask people or children in particular, don't ask children what when they grow up, what they want to do. Ask them what type of life they want to live.
Yeah.
And I think when you ask the question that way, it opens up a different approach to life. What type of life you want to live?
Yeah.
You know, are you someone who see yourself traveling on the world and things like that? All right. Then if that type of life you want to live, then it's going to influence what type of work that you do, eh?
Yeah.
Because that's the type of life you want to live. So help them to identify that. Because when you identify, oh, I want to be this, I want to be a policeman, a fireman, this or that, and you get stuck in that system and you realize that making you unhappy, that's another problem. Boy.
Yeah.
So the pain of defeat or the pain of success. So one thing, choose your pain. The pain, one thing I know, the pain of defeat, that is last long, boy. That one don't go away.
Yeah.
It is last long. So choose right.
something that you mentioned there, right, with regards like fireman, policeman, different coin things that we know growing up as trainees. These are what we would call the pinnacle jobs back in the day,
Right.
And maybe we need to look at those again because what may have worked for the generations 50 years ago,
not working now,
right?
Correct. Absolutely.
May not be valid now.
Absolutely.
And we need to look at these things very, very carefully. Correct. So that we could have the insight, because living the type of life that you want to live is conditional on how you work and how good that you are with money and where you work.
And that's something Marion Golden said too. You have to understand what age you're living in. You need to understand what age you're living in. And I remember there was a time when getting a government job was okay. That would have been able to feed your family, send them to school, handle a mortgage, and retire comfortably.
Yeah.
There was a time for that. Guess what? Now it's not that time. No, it's not that time. So I remember when I was at my daughter's graduation, when she's graduated from preschool, and part of the graduation was all the children would say what they want to be. And of course, you will get the regular stuff, doctor, policeman, fireman, because I want to help people and things like that. And that's fine and all, good. But there was this young boy, he said something so out of the ordinary. The entire place erupted in rapturous applause, boy. And I was making the most noise because I just love to hear that.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to be. He said, I want to be a fisherman. And I just love that because, fishermen is making real money. It's like, you can make real money. But not only that, I saw, and I hope, his parents will guide him along that, because the opportunity for business in that type of venture, boy, it is huge. And it was so out of the ordinary. Whether he goes on to be a fisherman or not, that's up to him. But is the mindset that I was most pleased with. To have the courage to say something that is different. Yeah, that is different from what others would say. Was really tremendous. So I always tell my children, don't settle to be a doctor, own a hospital. Things like that, own a hospital. I want to be a teacher, own a school. Don't settle. Yeah, on your way to owning your own school, you might have to be a teacher for years and so on. But your goal is much bigger than just being a teacher. On your way to being the owner of a medical institution, you might have to be a doctor, but you don't have to stay there. Your goals are bigger and so on. So when they pay you the big salary, you ain't settling there because that's not what your goal is. Your goal is to provide a level of service on a huge scale by owning a medical institution. So that's why don't just settle to be a chef, own a restaurant.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so just little things like that, but I really hope that, could inspire them to think big now. It's all about thinking big, So, Andrew, it was a pleasure, boy.
It was.
I don't know if you have anything else you want to say in closing.
Well, I just want to say that if it is that you got value from this video, to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to get some more value from other videos. Welcome to the Andrew Podcast. Peace out.